Hi. What's your name?
Well, the creepy smiling is back, and this little girl for sure did the best job possible. So what is the sequel all about? Can it hold a candle to the first movie? Hi there, it's Micha. Join me for this review if you like to find out. The movie starts with Joel, the guy who inherited the curse at the end of the first film, trying to survive the only way that is known so far, by killing someone violently in front of a witness, so that that witness will henceforth be plagued by the demonic being in his stead. And being a cop, he found the perfect subjects.
Last January, the two of you shot an innocent mother and a kid, killed them in Newark.
Oh yeah?
Unfortunately, after the deed is done, his chosen witness starts to shoot, so he has to return fire to an inconvenient outcome.
Stay alive, you piece of shit!
But as it turns out, another unlucky bastard, there to buy some drugs, witnessed it all.
It's what it meant for you. What was it meant for me? I'm sorry.
Though now free of the curse, Joel's bright new future didn't last long, because while running away from the returning rest of the dealer's gang... Well, after that we meet our leading lady, pop star Skye Riley, who, like Rose in the first movie, has suffered a big trauma in her past, surviving a car crash that left her with back problems and a big scar, and her famous boyfriend dead. As she is a recovering drug addict, but legitimately needs pain medication, she turns to an acquaintance to get it under the counter. And you guessed it. To avoid more negative publicity, she leaves instead of calling the police. Anyway, now that she contracted the being that will turn her days into a living nightmare, she slowly starts to see the weirdest things, including people smiling at her in the creepiest way possible. And some are not even alive anymore, like her recently deceased celebrity partner.
Paul's dead! You're not! Paul, stop smiling at me!
Then there is someone anonymously reaching out to her cell phone who seems to know that she left the scene of a crime. What is that all about? And as Skye doesn't even know about the option of transferring the curse, how will her story end? As I said in my review for the first movie, the end of that one was spoiled for me because the first 10 minutes of the sequel were forced on me as a preview at a festival, before I saw the first movie. So I knew that Joel would inherit the possession, which meant either Rose would die in front of him or kill someone with Joel being the witness. I actually thought the latter would happen by her killing a squatter in her childhood home while hallucinating, which would have made for a more original ending than the one we got. I also knew that Joel would die almost instantly after getting rid of it, which also kept me from watching the second movie. It was also frustrating as he is a great actor and it would have been interesting to see how he deals with his guilt.
I'm sorry. What?
He could also have contributed to Skye's story or return in another sequel. However you look at it, it is a wasted opportunity. But let's look at the actual plot of this sequel. Many critics commented that this movie mainly rehashes the story of the first one. A woman gets infected, doesn't know what is happening to her while she slowly slips into madness, while viewers have to be on their feet to try to anticipate what is a hallucination and what is real. She also has someone to work with, who helps her understand what is going on. So yeah, it is the same formula, but what do you expect from a horror sequel? If it is well executed, it can be exactly what audiences want, and sometimes they even surprise us.
Jesus! Can you knock?
This movie certainly did that, but at least for me, in a completely wrong way. Because while some of the tricks the script tries to play on us are pretty easy to spot and some will likely fool most of the audience, writer-director Parker Finn overdid it this time. In order to mislead us, it feels as if he said to himself, "Continuity and logic be damned. I don't even give the audience a chance to stay on top of things. I don't care about the journey, just about the destination." While many seem to have accepted that, I was just pissed off by it. Which is a shame, because the technical aspects were really strong and most of the plot very engaging, but that couldn't change the fact that I ended up feeling cheated. Which I'm pretty sure was partially due to reshoots, but more on that, if you are interested, in the spoiler zone at the end of this video. They also overdid it a bit with the depiction of her hallucinations, because while they are still creepy enough, by amping up the scope, some moments ended up feeling more unintentional funny than scary. In that moment I couldn't help myself and just laughed out loud. Anyway, saving grace was actor Naomi Scott, who delivered a powerhouse performance in the lead role, and the fact that the end promised an interesting continuation for the already greenlit third installment of the franchise. If they don't retcon it, but I hope they don't cop out. If it wasn't for that, I honestly would have considered skipping the upcoming threequel or only watch it for review purposes, which is not an ideal starting point. And with that being said, let's get to the rating. As you could gather by now, I think this movie was not on par with its predecessor. In order to stay ahead of the audience, the script was deceptive to the point where I felt betrayed. The acting and the very ending saved this movie from being a real disappointment. As is, I'm rating it with 5 out of 10 points.
What the fuck is your problem?
I think I made that clear. Anyway, it truly is a shame, as with some minor tweaks to the screenplay, so it doesn't screw us over, this movie would have scored higher with me than the original. Easily 8 out of 10 points. Which just goes to show how much impact small changes can have on an otherwise strong movie. Now, if you don't want to get spoiled, feel free to leave and return at a later point. If you don't mind spoilers or have already watched the movie, please follow me into the spoiler zone. So what was it that rubbed me the wrong way? Well, at the end it was revealed that at least the last 40 minutes of the plot were all an illusion. Maybe even more, because there is no way you positively can say what the last real thing that happened was. There is a hallucination where her mother killed herself and later Skye realized that she killed her. Which wouldn't make sense, as the creature cannot control her before it possesses her. Which already was a mistake they did in the first movie. Here it turns out to be okay though, as this was just a hallucination within a hallucination. And that went even deeper, like in Inception, minus any inner logic for the audience to follow. The whole or most of the storyline around her secret helper was just in her head. That was all about him offering her another way out of it, other than killing someone. Someone else, that is, because he suggests that
when an infected host dies in some other way outside of the being's control,
that the parasite also dies. So he suggests to stop her heart and revive her, hoping the creature would then be gone too. However, close to trying that, she enters into another layer of hallucination.
Break a leg out there.
Just to end up on stage a few seconds later, miles away from where we thought her to be, where we also find her mother to be still alive. There she succumbs to the being, and she ends her life in front of thousands of fans, suggesting that they now are all infected. Which admittedly is a strong ending, and the sequel could reach apocalyptic proportions. But apparently, this movie only cared about ending on that note, not in the least how to bring us there. And as I said, maybe they even retcon that, either having only one of the audiences getting cursed, or it turns out that the whole ending was also a hallucination, and she is still in that other place. My best guess is that the original plotline brought her straight to the concert stage, but they deemed that way not to be interesting enough. So they introduced that storyline around the temporary death, which is suggested by some of the deleted scenes. In the final movie, she puts on a disguise to meet the guy who would try to help her. But in the deleted scenes, that exact scene was used when she wants to get away from her mother.
What are you doing? Where are you going?
I need some air.
This suggests that it was repurposed to go along with that new plotline. So they likely ended up merging two different versions of the second half of a movie, ending up with one that led us to where they wanted us, just in a way that makes little sense and antagonizes the audience. Another thing is her trauma being fed by guilt, as Skye was the reason for the accident, same way as Rose in the original let her neglectful mother die. This suggests that maybe a victim not only has to have trauma, but also guilt for a terrible deed. Or maybe not, as again, we only learn that about our lead, so it may be coincidence, or just used to spice up the story. There are also other small things that bothered me a bit, but these were the big ones. What about you? Did you also feel cheated by the last 40 minutes of this movie, or was it all still working for you? Do you think that they will continue from that spectacular premise on which the movie ended, or will there be a cop-out? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share or subscribe. So much for now, see you next time, and thanks for watching. He could also have contributed... Mother? Contributed... He could also have contributed...